Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the Montreal Canadiens. Let's talk about a team that finished with 76 points last year, but I don't think anybody would argue it was a bad season. In fact, I think a lot of people would say, what a positive step forward, and how could you not think so, right? It was just a pretty even division. They finished only 2 points back of the Ottawa Senators, who many are saying will make the playoffs, and they made some big additions. Now, as of this recording, Patrick Laine just went down with a knee injury against the Leafs. We can't do this preview without mentioning it.
Oh, yeah.
We have to talk about it.
A couple days ago. I mean, geez, what a huge ad for them. And now what a big subtraction.
Right.
And like David Reinbacher, too. We're supposed to get an update on their health at the end of today.
Laine was at practice today with crutches. So I don't.
Oh, gosh.
So bad. And Reinbacher left the game on crutches. I don't know if he's off crutches now.
Right.
Like Reinbacher was probably going to play games with the Habs this year. Laine was going to be a significant part of their top six. And it has affected what I think of them.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. So let's talk about the good, because we did lead a little bad here. Let's talk about the good. What do we like about this team?
Well, okay. I keep saying I'd like them to take a step this year. Mm-hmm. What's happened in the last couple of days has adjusted my expectations. Like Jesse was very hardcore on they're still playing with house money. Yeah. I'd like to see all their young guys take a step, and I think at minimum they will. You're going to get a full season out of Lane Hudson. That's going to be crazy for me. You need a bounce back from Cole Caulfield probably. If you get back half of the season, Juraj Slafkovsky, that's going to make up some points in the standings like pretty automatically. I don't have too many questions in net, so you're going to get some saves from Montembeault and Primo. Your D-core is the biggest dash on the team. I don't love that, but I think they're going to score more goals. And for the Habs, it's can the young guys take a step? And can they stay healthy? Well, we already know the answer to the second one's no. Mm-hmm. It's so unfortunate. Like, I know I'm talking about this as a guy who cheers for the Leafs, but like, dude, objectively, what has happened this preseason?
It sucks. Yeah, it really does.
It's
Jesse,
so brutal.
What sticks out to you about when you look at the Montreal Canadiens up and down and the changes they made? Mm-hmm. What's the first thing that sticks out?
Well, the first thing, like a week ago or like 48 hours ago, I would have said like getting free Kirby Dach because he didn't play last year, and then getting Laine, just two huge additions to the forward group that needs that would be amazing and to catapult them to like. I don't think they're going to finish in last, but I don't think they're going to be contending for a playoff spot. And I think that's what the overarching view of the Canadiens needs to be this season, is that they're still in this rebuild. They have so much young talent to be excited about. Like Steve went through a lot of the names there, and I think that needs to be what you look at this season. Everybody get a little better. You're still playing with house money. There's no pressure here at all. I don't think there should be any expectations on this team. Wherever they finish, and it's going to be a good season because these young, talented kids are going to develop a little better.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. And I look at this, guys, and I want to point something out here. There are projects on this roster. There are guys who are contracts. Gallagher, Anderson are not projects anymore. They're leaders, but we're coming towards the end, at least with
both
Gallagher.
Guys who could do better.
They could do better. I think Josh Anderson is what he is. I think there's going to be 7 or 8 nights a year where you're like, this is the best player on the ice, and the rest of them, he kind of disappears.
I could see a trade happening.
Absolutely. I think he'd be a valuable add to a team, depth, power forward, that sort of thing, but I'm not expecting much. Gallagher, at this point in his career, I'm not sure what to expect from him other than great leadership. He's a great guy. I would say a Habs legend, probably going to be, in this era. Who will forget that run to the Stanley Cup where he was so valuable? All of those things. I'm looking at guys like, what's Christian Dvorak? Is he anything more than what we have seen? Is Alex Newhook, is what we saw last year, is Alex Newhook a 20-goal guy? Is he a 25-goal guy? He was a 15-goal guy last year on a team that wasn't great. What is Kirby Dach? Is Kirby Dach, I know Montreal Canadiens fans are thrilled about Kirby Dach coming back. I think he had 34 points in 54 games or something the last time he played. Is Kirby Dach slower? Is he faster? Is he better? Is he more mature? There's so many question marks on this roster. It makes it hard to pin how could they be better than last place.
They're not wildly different in terms of personnel from last year. Mm-hmm. Health is a big factor, and also who wants it. It's jump ball for who plays where.
Yeah.
absolutely jump ball for who plays where. So like any of the guys you mentioned could step up and go into a more prominent role. But what has happened is either they've gotten injured or they've failed to live up to I deserve to be in the top 6.
Now, when you have Cole Caulfield, Juraj Slafkovsky, and Nick Suzuki on the same line, that's exciting.
Sure.
That's an exciting thing. And they really clicked last year. What do you expect from a guy like Cole Caulfield, who, as you mentioned, even in his young career, I mean, he had the most goals he's ever had, but I would say that he probably could have had 7 or 8 more.
More to give, but like for such a huge chunk of the season last year, I mean, you key in on Cole and Nick, and there's their offense shot. Basically, adding Uri to that and how friggin' good he was back half. Injuries, like again, you just become deeper and harder to isolate.
Yeah.
If you can't isolate Cole Caulfield, if you give him a split second, he'll score.
Yep.
So I expect a career year out of him. Suzuki's had some pretty good years, so I don't know. But Slav, I expect another career year.
I would love to see Caulfield and Suzuki both be 30 goal scorers. Suzuki did it for the first time last season.
Yeah,
I want to see it happen again, and Caulfield's never done it. Like, if I see both those guys be 30 goal scorers, I think like that little benchmark is like, oh, like look forward to this in 2025, 26. You know, they're both coming off 30 goal seasons. Who knows what they can build upon that? I think it's a good little benchmark for guys at this early stage of their career.
Caulfield, having never scored 30 goals in a season, does not compute.
Right.
No.
He needs to do it, is what I'm kind of saying.
Would you be shocked if 19 or 20-year-old Juraj Slafkovsky scored 30?
Not at all.
I mean, based on his back half, he was unbelievable.
Right.
Not at all.
I think it'd be a little ambitious for him to hit it, but if he does it, it'd be incredible.
It'd be great.
I mean,
He's going to do it one day, I believe.
let's say all 3 of those guys go 30, 30, 30. That's a 90-goal line. That's a lot. That's a lot to expect.
It's a little much, so maybe hold back expectations there on Slav real quick.
So I just want to throw this out there. This is how bad Montreal was at scoring goals last year. They had 3 guys with over 20 goals, and they're the 3 guys you just mentioned. It's Suzuki,
They were
Caulfield, Slafkovsky.
26th in goals for.
Yeah.
Last year, 27th in goals against. So they weren't good at either side of the puck.
Well, because you can't even be like, well, this guy's hot, so we're going to try to cover him, or this guy or that guy. No, it's you just key in on those 3 and you kill their offense.
Now on defense,
That's why getting Line and Doc back, it would be so important for this team. And it sucks that they're going to miss Line for a little bit, but once they're full strength, you're going to see like, oh, Canadians can score.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be a really good season for them.
under the radar for the Montreal Canadiens, Mike Matheson, who's 29, had a really great year. He really did.
Difficult to repeat.
Difficult to repeat.
That good.
Caden Gooley looked good. The guy that everybody's talking about is Lane Hudson. And he's a monster truck out there. He really does throw a good hit. When you have a rookie defenseman, he's going to be paired probably with David Savard, who's a very good veteran defensive defenseman.
Well, yeah, he'll be the Mark Mathot to Lane Hudson's Erik Karlsson.
Right. Yeah. So that was what I wanted to say, is that Lane Hudson will come in and, as every young defenseman does, get burned a couple times. He's going to have some spectacular plays, and he's going to be spectacularly burned, and neither of them will affect his career trajectory.
Not a Habs fan living or breathing will give a shit. You do you, Lane. Be free, have fun, you'll figure it out. I don't think a single Habs fan is worried about that.
Okay. All right. Now, it's a mix of young and old on the back end. Our Bergeron, Justin Barron, rounding it out at this point anyway. I mean, what do we think? This seems like a pretty easy team to skate through relative to what's in the division.
I hope Jack Eye's an everyday player. I hope he's not getting out of the lineup.
It's too fun.
Exactly. I think he's good for the team, and he's a lot of fun to watch. And I hope he's good enough defensively to stick around on that team for 82 games.
A little bit like Rempe in New York. It's like, okay, I know why you're scratching him, but I wish you wouldn't.
Yeah,
it's way more fun if you don't.
Yeah. He's box office.
Oh yeah. So I wish like with Rempe, where Rempe's like, I'm gonna get good enough to be in this lineup. I hope Jack Eye is the same way, where defensively he's sound enough that he can go out there and punch people in the face and still play defense.
If Line is in this lineup, based on your rankings would it change where you have the Montreal Canadiens finishing in this division?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I think he was due for a big year as well. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if it would change the rank. I'm not sure. Jesse, would it change it for you?
I would have had them in first, and we'll never
Wow.
know. We'll never know. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, like, hypothetically, I would have had them in first, but I'm not going to have them first anymore.
Wow.
Offensive depth is one of the biggest problems, or was one of the biggest problems facing the Montreal Canadiens, especially when everyone got hurt. And Line A in Columbus was expected to do bloody everything, including play center. So I think he and the Habs were a match made in heaven. I think he would have helped them, and they would have helped him. And at the time we're recording this, we don't know how long he's going to be out.
So the Montreal Canadiens had 76 points last year. BetMGM, and these are pre-Line A injury, by the way. BetMGM has the regular season points over-under at 77.5. So a slight improvement. Are you over or are you under?
Well, I'll start here. Because of the injury, I have them 8th. I also don't think they're a bad team.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody.
No.
I don't think the Atlantic has a single bad team.
I think they have teams trending in bad team directions. There's one I'm specifically thinking about.
Interesting.
The Leafs.
That'll be an interesting
Adam's going to say the Leafs.
But Montreal is absolutely not one.
Adam's going to say the Penguins to commit to the bit.
That'd be funny.
I want to say over. Over for an 8th place team at 77 doesn't make sense.
No.
But I'm going to say it anyway, just as a sign of good faith that
That's called hedging.
It is called hedging. I believe in what the Habs are doing. The injury has affected my opinion.
Okay, that's fair. Jesse.
I'm going to say that too many teams take points off of them. I'm going to go the opposite of you. I'm going to say they finish in 7th, but under.
Who do you have finishing 8th?
The Leafs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
The last.
Am I right, Canadians fans? Fuck them.
Fuck him.
Fuck Toronto.
Yeah, also, Cedric Poirier tried to assassinate him.
Yeah.
I want to say this. It affected my rankings, too. I do think that Montreal finishes 8th, but this is going to be the most positive 8th place that you've ever seen in your life.
I believe in you.
They will
7th.
be vibes heavy.
Not last.
The Canadians, again, will be vibes heavy. They're going to draft well again. They're going to make another trade this year, and it's going to change the way the franchise goes.
I know what the move is. They're going to claim Cedric Poirier off waivers.
I love it. I'm in for it. So, Montreal Canadiens, that's your season preview. And by the way, I say under 77.5 too, because it's hard to finish 8th and get 80 points.
Yeah, well, they're going to try.